Good evening. Welcome. My name is Marty Kaplan. I'm the director of the Norman Lear Center and the principal investigator, which is what they call it in academia, of Hollywood Health and Society. And I am thrilled that you are all here. Welcome to the Sentinel for Health Awards. It's the 16th annual Sentinel for Health Awards. And I would just like to say, looking around, that you clean up really nicely. The actors always look good, but the rest of you, you never know. So I just want to say how appreciative we are of that. Lots to talk about and celebrate tonight, but the first thing I wanted to do was to be able to introduce to you and have them greet you and welcome you, the two co-chairs of the board of Hollywood Health and Society. Zoanne Clack is executive producer of Grey's Anatomy. Howard Rodman was elected Monday the president of the Writers Guild of America. Please welcome Howard and Zoanne.
Hello, everyone. As Marty said, you guys do clean up very nicely. I, for one, have not been to the Sentinel Awards since it was at the WGA, and I have worn jeans and what I wore to work, so awesome. You guys cleaned up nicely. So thank you and welcome to the 16th Annual Sentinel Awards. As a person who has an MD and a master's in public health, finding the entertainment education and Hollywood Health and Society validated my existence in the entertainment world. So I'm very appreciative of them, and I am always thrilled to honor the winners and the writers and producers who are telling important health stories and talking about climate change. Congratulations to all the finalists here tonight, and Howard, congratulations on your election as president of the Writers Guild.
Thank you, Zoanne, and thank you, Marty. As a member of the Writers Guild of America and now its president, I want to say how very happy I am that we have this alliance with Hollywood Health and Society. It helps bring out the very best in our work. And as a very new co-chair of Hollywood Health and Society, let me extend my congratulations to the work of the writers in this room whose necessary, urgent, imaginative work changes the world in which we live. So thank you all around, and very happy to be here. And I think now I get to give you back to someone who is both a friend and an investigator, Marty Kaplan.
If any of you have any spousal investigations you want conducted, it's what it sounds like. I'm happy to score a little Uber cash on the side. One of the things that we pride ourselves on at Hollywood Health and Society is that you and your pillow will get to meet each other at a decent time. So if there's ever a moment this evening in which you think things are lagging or you're worried about getting home because of whatever tomorrow is, fear not. We understand where you're coming from, and we will honor that need this evening. The pleasure of Hollywood Health and Society, in addition to doing things that are, as Howard said, necessary and urgent, includes doing something which I'm just completely out of the blue going to tell you about. I have just come back from Milan. It's hardship duty at Expo Milano, which is the World's Fair this year, whose theme is food. 150 nations are represented, including the US. The Lear Center and Hollywood Health and Society put on some programming about food and entertainment in order to explore the ways in which the depiction of food in entertainment has been used by storytellers, and to explore what its possible influence is on audiences when they see that. And part of what we did was to put together a very short clip reel of great moments of food in television, through television history. And so we thought it would be, as an hors d'oeuvre, a fun way to start. So please enjoy.
Gee, I hate mush. I'm fed up with mush. Ain't you, Sparky? You said a mouthful. Pork chops and applesauce. That's swell. Kiss my clear.
So what do you say? Shall we eat?
Let's see.
You see, Mama and Iola are in the kitchen because cooking is what they're good at.
This breakfast is good enough to eat. Oh my God, that smells good.
I think it's a lamb ragu.
Holy
Nothing here. It's vegetarian.
Be a good girl, Tina, and eat your supper.
Now you can either come to the table and eat, or you can lie there and feed off your own fat.
Dinner should be special, not at the dinner table.
Let's say grace.
I'll do it this time.
What?
Shut up.
Amen.
Grow up. Excuse me, I am grown up. That's why I cooked all this food. I love what I made.
We're not gonna eat this drink anymore! We want something else!
You're cooking. You can really taste the ignorance.
It's pronounced anchovies.
Well, I guess you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, am I right?
Fly, be free!
How's it taste?
Oh, wow. Cheesecake.
Got carrots for your eyes. Got meats for your blood. Everything's good for something on this plate.
Oh, pizza ain't good for nothing.
You mean you're still on that diet?
Hate my sensible meal. You hate my sensible meal.
And I literally ate 15 mini muffins.
That man ate all our shrimp and 2 plastic lobsters.
I'm feeling hungry today.
Are you through with your dessert?
Yeah, I'll go ahead, Pickles.
You're not gonna eat that?
Never seen anyone eat that fast.
I was afraid to put my hands near her mouth.
This is almost better than sex.
2 cups of good, hot, black coffee.
I just want you inside of me.
It's the best bloody peanut butter I've ever tasted.
I will cook you!
There's been an accident.
Why? Tear this family apart.
So, how about that guacamole?
I know, I'm terrible at making you eat ice cream.
Shall we order?
Yeah, the f are the specials.
Forget to see the menus, please.
Nothing for you!
This is local.
This is ham, soaked in rum.
We want another round. What do you think?
4 more, please.
We have a version with Italian subtitles if you'd like to watch that. And there's also one just for food in movies. You can find it on our website, and a lot more about why we went to Milan to talk about the impact of entertainment on food, diet, and nutrition and health, which brings me to the subject of this evening, which is Hollywood Health and Society, whose purpose is to the Sentinel Awards in particular, to recognize the writers and producers and everyone else involved in shows who take the responsibility of the power of storytelling seriously, to understand that to tell a story is to hold people in your hands. And once you're doing that, you can take them on almost any journey. And the fact that you here tonight chose to take them on a journey which, when it involves the world of health and science and climate change, that it was important to you to be not only entertaining, because you want them to stay on that journey, but also to be accurate, to be useful and of service to the people who watch your shows. So that's what we're here to celebrate. And before we do anything else, I would like to ask you to applaud one another for the work you do and the fact that you're here this evening. No program runs by itself. It relies on great leadership and great staff, and it is an enormous privilege for me to be able to have as a colleague the incredibly talented, resourceful, and wonderful person as a person. You know about that in the industry, right? I mean, everyone's really nice. To work with and to look forward to seeing every day. And she is the director of Hollywood Health and Society. Please join me in welcoming Kate Folb. There she is.
Good evening. Thank you, Marty. And welcome, everyone. You do look marvelous. Well, before we begin the awards, I want to take a moment to tell you a little bit about Hollywood Health and Society. For those of you who don't know, I promised a few people I'd do a commercial, so I'm going to do this commercial. As some of you do know, Hollywood Health and Society is a free resource to entertainment content creators, providing up-to-date information and access to experts to support accurate storylines on health and climate change. We're here to help you with the research so you can do what you do best, tell great stories. In addition to daily consultations, we hold panel discussions, screenings, expert briefings to highlight new developments in science and medicine. And here are just a few highlights from this year. In addition to working with a number of shows interested in climate change, Hollywood Health and Society collaborated with Vulcan Productions, Discovery Channel, and the Producers Guild Green Committee to host a sneak preview of Racing Extinction, a new documentary by Academy Award winner Louis Psihoyos. You might remember him from The Cove. We held a panel discussion after the film, which was moderated by our own Lynn Lear, which allowed us to hear from the filmmakers and the experts about solutions to this critical issue. Does anybody here play Angry Birds? You can raise your hand. It's not a guilty, you don't have to be, anyway. Well, Hollywood Health and Society helps support Angry Birds game that's going on this week, Champions for Earth tournament. And it's going on the rest of this week, so if you haven't played after the Sentinels, not now, but after, you can go home and try your luck. We've provided factual information on climate change, and we helped line up celebrity spokespeople for the game. Danny DeVito, Matt Damon, Ian Somerhalder, Don Cheadle, and others were some of the actors that participated. And here's a couple of fun facts that our talented staff came up with. So when you play the game, Champions for Earth, I think if you press pause, a little factoid comes up. Or when you're going to the next level, a little factoid will come up. So sometimes those are commercials, but they decided for this week, it's all going to be information about climate change. And we helped put together some of those little factoids. So here's a couple that my talented staff came up with. According to a recent report by Oxfam, climate change could increase food prices by 50 to 60% by 2030. But if you want those prices now, just visit your local Whole Foods. Due to deforestation in Paraguay, you can now actually fry an egg on the sidewalk. You have to eat it in 5 seconds, though, because you know the rule. So tonight, as I said, after the awards. I don't want to see anybody on their phone playing the game now, but afterwards, go home, unwind with a few rounds of Angry Birds Champions for Earth, and believe it or not, you'll be joined by over 240 million people from around the world. Now, in April, we held a panel discussion at the Writers Guild of America East in New York called the Double X Files: Health and Justice for Women in Film and Television. It was moderated by Liz Winstead, who is the co-creator of The Daily Show and founder of Lady Parts Justice. The panel focused on breast cancer, sexual assault, and reproductive health. Beau Willimon, you can see him in the picture there, Beau Willimon, showrunner for Netflix's House of Cards, Academy Award-nominated screenwriter Peter Hedges, Jean Passanante of The Young and the Restless, experts from the CDC, the Office on Women's Health, and Planned Parenthood, a breast cancer survivor, and a sexual assault survivor all shared their experience and their personal stories to a packed house. And with the support of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Hollywood Health and Society has been able to establish partnerships across the oceans. Currently, we have projects in India and in Nigeria working with those entertainment capitals to improve the lives of millions of viewers there. In India, we're working with a number of TV dramas, including Roshni, which is a new medical drama, hopes to be the next Grey's Anatomy in India, and Betty Ka Fars, which is a traditional Indian soap. And in Nigeria, Hollywood meets Nollywood. We connected Jennifer Cecil, who's a Hollywood Health and Society board member and also producer and writer of AMC's Hell on Wheels, and Sarah Watson, who was the executive producer and writer for ABC's Parenthood, with the Nigerian writers of the feature film Code of Silence, which is done by a very well-known Nollywood director and features A-list Nollywood stars. Jennifer and Sarah provided guidance and input on this dramatic story of how sexual assault can tear a family apart. And the film was released in August. Okay, enough. There's so many other cool things we do, but I know Marty promised to get you home in time for bed, so I won't go on. It's now time for the awards. So this year, we received almost 90 entries for the Sentinel Awards. That's the most we've ever received. I think that deserves an applause. And of course, the competition was fierce. All eligible entries endured 2 rounds of rigorous judging, first for accuracy and then for production and entertainment value. For those of you who are here tonight as finalists, you're definitely the cream of the crop. So, Marty had you give yourselves an applause, I give you another. Now, some of our judges are here tonight, as well as some of the experts who work with Hollywood Health and Society to support your shows. So I'm going to ask the judges and the experts to stand for an applause, and if anybody's unhappy with the results of tonight's event, judges, make a quick exit, okay? So do we have some judges and experts that want to stand up? Okay, and last but certainly not least, I'd like to recognize Armine Kuroyan, our project manager, who coordinated tonight's event. Yes. And also to Russ DeVita for his graphic design and video editing. And to all the hardworking, dedicated staff and interns from the Lear Center and from Hollywood Health and Society, please stand and let us give you all a round of applause. They're probably not in here. They're probably out there. Okay. Back to you, Marty.
So,
We have 200 of these, and as you leave this evening, if you don't have a trophy, you can have this. You can actually have this even if you have a trophy, and I have a hunch pretty much everyone's going to have a trophy of some kind tonight. That's why you're here. The Sentinel Awards will honor entries in 7 categories: climate change, documentary, Spanish language, children's programming, serial drama, and comedy. 12 shows were selected as finalists. Congratulations to all of you. You are who is here tonight. And here's our plan for the evening. We'll introduce each category, we'll show clips from the finalists, and we'll present the award. When your name is called, and it will be called, please come up these center steps. If you come up those other steps, it's okay, but really, you want to come up those steps. And when you leave the stage, you really want to go down those steps, but it's okay if you go over there. Our first award is in the category of climate change. We have 3 finalists. The first is Vice, Our Rising Oceans on HBO. This episode explores the issue of melting polar ice caps in Antarctica. Let's take a look while our feet are still dry.
We have the top machines in the world here. We just went through the whole thing. So there's so much data coming in. You're flying daily flights. What's happening in Antarctica as a whole?
Antarctica is starting to melt. We've seen in the last 40 years a regime of westerlies around Antarctica that's stronger than for the past 1,000 years. So the winds are circulating faster around Antarctica. And this tends to push the subsurface warm water closer to the glaciers, and it brings more warm water towards Antarctica. If you keep that going, so you're going to push more and more ocean heat against the glacier. The glaciers are going to retreat faster and faster.
So the winds are pushing more warm water underneath the ice shelf. You have the ice flowing faster into the sea, which melts it faster, which leads to sea level rise.
That's right.
Now, to understand exactly what's happening here, we sat down with Dr. Atiq Rahman, a prominent environmentalist and co-recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize for his work on climate change.
One of the reasons why Bangladesh is called one of the most vulnerable countries of the world is because a little sea level rise means a lot of area penetrated because it's a flat country. For 1 meter sea level rise, which is likely to happen according to Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change by end of the century, about 17% of the land mass of Bangladesh will be inundated by sea level rise, salt water. The impact that people are already facing in terms of destruction of their water supply, their health impacts, their impacts on the productivity of their crops, so all that combined together to make basically living untenable.
This cycle of stronger storm surges from sea level rise, combined with the stronger storm systems, has destroyed more than 25,000 homes in this area since 2009, leaving many people homeless. Now, faced with no other options, these displaced people are forced further inland to the already overcrowded cities.
Our second finalist is the Smithsonian Channel's Mass Extinction Life at the Brink, a program that joins scientists from around the world in search of answers to what triggered past extinctions and what that might tell us about the future.
Mass extinctions eons ago may seem as if they happened on a distant planet. But this is the same stage, even if the actors have changed. We're now in a third great age, known as the Age of Mammals. During this time, life reached its greatest level of diversity. But there are fears that the world could face another mass extinction. Only this time, instead of volcanoes or asteroids, the trigger would be us. paleontologist Anthony Barnosky is investigating if the 6th mass extinction has already arrived.
Humans used to be part of nature. Now we're a force of nature. We have transformed 40% of the planet for our own needs, and things are only going to get worse because we're going to have 3 billion more people on the planet by the year 2050.
Today, a quarter of all mammal and 1/5 of fish and reptile species are threatened with extinction. Amphibians are vanishing even faster.
If we continued to lose species at the rate we've lost them over the last century, within as little as 200 years, we would see 75% of species we know about disappearing from the planet forever.
The third finalist is The Simpsons on Fox for the episode Opposites Affrack, which explores the complicated relationship between the energy business and, I was going to say politicians, but cartoon characters probably seems more appropriate.
Assemblywoman Lombard, you got my emails.
I'll go anywhere, anytime, to defend our precious Bay Area values. Oh, terrible. Just shocking. Does anybody have a baby we can hold near the flames?
I guess I do.
I'm gonna hit this Mr. Burns with a politician's most powerful weapon, an invitation to a committee hearing. Mr. Burns, do you admit that you illegally pumped toxic chemicals into the groundwater below Evergreen Terrace?
I don't recall.
Mr. Burns, have you no regard for the life and health of your fellow human beings?
I don't recall.
You can't drill underneath people's homes without their permission. As chairwoman of this Committee on Energy, Natural Resources, and Blimp Safety, your fracking operation is hereby shut down.
I demand to see that capitalism castrating suffragette this instant. You haven't bested me. I will find a way to shatter that shale.
What makes men like you think you can do whatever you want to our planet?
Maybe the planet wants a strong man to take her by the hand and lead her.
You don't know what the planet wants.
Oh, and I suppose you do?
The planet wants to be protected and nourished and maybe even
kissed.
I don't know whether it's more appropriate to be reminded of Donald Trump or the head of Volkswagen right now, having seen that. So, the winners. The third place Sentinel Award for Climate Change goes to Mass Extinction, Life at the Brink, and here to accept is Sarah Holt, producer, director, writer, and editor.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate the recognition. It's interesting. I didn't know much about your organization or even this awards, but a few years ago, a scientist at Howard Hughes Medical Institute, Sean Carroll, came and said to me, I think the public is hungry for more content and bigger issues, and if we give you the money, would you make the films? Which, of course, we said yes. So I want to thank Howard Hughes and Tanglebank Studios for funding the film. I've never had a script more fact-checked in my life. I even had to have the dinosaur sound effects vetted by experts, the plants for the animation plates, but in the end, I think we got a very solid science story, so thank you.
The second place Sentinel Award for Climate Change goes to The Simpsons, Opposites Affrack. Here to accept Vice President of Comedy Programming and Development for Fox, Jonathan Gabay. It's yours.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. As a USC graduate, I'm very honored to be here tonight with the Hollywood Health and Society. Annenberg is very close to my heart, so this is great. I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of Al Jean and the rest of the Simpsons producers. As a show that's been on the air for 27 years and plans to be on the air for another probably million years, the Simpsons are very concerned with the future of the planet. So thank you very much.
I didn't know if you caught them, but those are great sneakers. Really, truly excellent. And for our first place Sentinel Award for the climate change goes to Vice, Our Rising Oceans. Here to accept is the Director of Photography, Jake Burkhart.
Thanks. I never dreamed that I would have ever been in the same award category as The Simpsons, and that's really awesome. I want to thank the Sentinel Awards for having us, our entire team at Vice on HBO, our executives, Nina Rosenstein, Mike Lombardo, and Richard Plepler, of course, Shane Smith, who I'm sure you're all missing, but he's in New York premiering our next film, which airs this Sunday. I especially want to thank Eric Vigneault, whose research inspired us to go to Antarctica and make this film, and yeah, that's it. Thanks.
I love that ending. Our next category is documentaries. This year we had a couple of extraordinary entries, and though they are not here to accept because they are on the East Coast and working on their next documentaries, I wanted to tell you that the second place Sentinel Award went to PBS Frontline's Being Mortal, in which Atul Gawande looks at the importance of communicating end-of-life needs and wishes before you get there, which is an issue that none of us will have to face. And the first place Sentinel Award went to National Geographic Channel's Sleepless in America. In this program, the channel partnered with the National Institutes of Health and the Public Good Projects to expose the crucial need for sleep and the shocking and sometimes life-threatening consequences of not getting enough. Also something that no one here has any experience of. And we accept the award on their behalf, and please, in their absence, congratulate them.
Okay, next up, Spanish language. Woohoo! So the finalist in the Spanish language category is CNN en Español's Vive la Salud con la Doctora Azaret, featuring a segment on autism. Doctora Azaret explores how Chile and Colombia are helping those on the spectrum and their families to improve and enrich their lives. Let's watch.
Continuamos con nuestro programa de Vive la Salud, hoy dedicado al autismo. La educación de estos niños diagnosticados con el trastorno es uno de los grandes retos tanto para padres como educadores. Una madre chilena decidió educar a su niño utilizando el método de homeschooling o enseñanza en el hogar, donde especialistas llevan la educación al medio ambiente donde el niño se siente más cómodo, su hogar. Veamos.
Hace 11 años nació Benjamín. En sus primeras etapas del desarrollo, sus padres, Marcel y Mario, comenzaron a percibir con preocupación ciertas dificultades auditivas y de comunicación. Luego de una serie de estudios, el diagnóstico fue claro: Su primer hijo padecía un trastorno del espectro autista severo. Marcela, su madre, cuenta que con el tiempo tuvo que ir derribando barreras para lograr descifrar el mundo de Benjamín.
Es como que aquí hay un sistema operativo que es totalmente diferente. Yo creo que esa es una muy buena forma de explicarlo. Ellos no son ni mejores ni peores, son simplemente distintos. Ellos perciben el mundo de manera diferente, ellos procesan la información de manera diferente.
La crianza ha sido desafiante para Marcela. Sin embargo, su experiencia como otorrinolaringóloga y los avances de la tecnología han contribuido de una manera sorprendente.
Oye, ¿qué quieres tú?
Yo quiero comer. Papas.
Sí, ahí tienes, papá. Yo te doy.
Una app para iPhone llamada Touch Chat ha revolucionado sus vidas. Esta aplicación ayuda a los niños que sufren del trastorno del espectro autista a comunicarse sin tener que usar su voz. Mediante una serie de iconos, los niños pueden aprender a expresar conceptos de manera sorprendente.
¿Qué quieres ver? ¿Cuál película quieres ver?
Clifford el gran perro rojo.
Además de esta aplicación, Benjamín cuenta con un equipo multidisciplinario de 6 especialistas que diariamente trabajan en su casa en una pieza especialmente habilitada para su rehabilitación.
And here to accept the award is anchor and writer Dr. Marisa Azaret.
Wow. Hi everyone, gracias. And it's an honor to be here tonight. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I do want to thank, first of all, my producer, Natalie. It's and I do want to thank CNN for giving us the opportunity to teach, to talk about subjects like autism, Alzheimer's, to talk about families that need to learn about this. And as a clinical psychologist, I do believe that without mental health, there is no health. So it's an honor to be here. I have to thank Cynthia Hudson, our VP. I have to thank our producers, Eduardo Suarez, and the Bureau here in Los Angeles. Thank you very much, and thank you to all of you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, children's programming. Disney Junior's Doc McStuffins is wildly popular among children and adults. The series chronicles a little girl who wants to become a doctor like her mother, and she practices her dream by practicing on her toys and dolls. In the episode, Ooey Gablooey Springs a Leak, Ooey, a toy starfish, accidentally punctures himself and panics as he starts bleeding. It's the last time I'm going to use air quotes, okay? Bleeding blue goo. Let's watch as Doc shows him how to stay calm so that he can get the help he needs.
Stuffy, can you put pressure on Ooey's rib to stop the gooing, please?
Oh, I can do that too. I am a brave dragon after all. Oh! Oops! Oh, sorry. I don't know my own strength.
More goo? Oh, you can't tell me this isn't bad, Doc.
Ooey, goo can be messy, but that doesn't always mean it's as bad as it looks.
But all that goo makes me think that something terrible has happened. Ah!
Scrubs, please, Hallie.
Right away, Doc.
Ooey, before I can fix your rib, I need to help you calm down.
How are you gonna do that, Doc?
Well, I'll start by taking off my gooey lab coat and putting on clean scrubs. There.
Oh, yeah, it's a little better. Now my outside isn't looking at my inside.
Okay, now let's just take a deep breath.
Oh, say, I feel more relaxed already.
Good. Now, Ooey, I know it's strange to see goo on your outside, but it's really nothing to be afraid of. Even though a rip might goo, that doesn't always mean it's bad. Look.
Say, that's just a teensy-weensy rip.
It's hard to believe so much goo came out of that little boo-boo.
Paste, please, Hallie.
Paste?
Ooey, if you ever get goo on your outside again, all you need to do is come to me and I'll fix you right up. Just like this.
I'm fixed? Fantastic! Oh, and my arm works perfectly. It works better than perfect. It works... It works perfectly. Thanks, Doc.
Glad I can help. And now I can make my diagnosis. Ooey, you had a bad case of oozy-goozy-itis. That means you had a rip and didn't like seeing your goo oozing out of it.
Sounds like that belongs in the big book of boo-boos.
But you're all better now, right, Ooey?
I sure am, Doc. I guess a little goo really isn't anything to be afraid of.
And although Doc is a nice little girl, her show continues to squash and destroy the competition. So I'm happy to present the Sentinel Award for Children's Programming to Doc McStuffins. And here to accept the award is co-executive producer Kent Redeker.
To take a lesson from Ooey. So, normally Chris Nee would be here, and those of you who know and adore Chris Nee are probably wondering what a super hunky, 6-foot-tall, eligible bachelor is doing here standing in for a 5-foot-tall redhead lesbian. Listen, I'm disappointed too. But Chris would have wanted me to start with a joke. Unfortunately, it's a little bit bittersweet tonight. Chris can't be here because her wife, Lisa, is in the hospital battling a serious illness. So any thoughts and prayers any of you want to send our way, we'll take them all. We'll take them all. With that said, I want to thank Chris so much for letting me be a part of this show. You guys have heard me say this before, but I'm so happy she's let me have a window seat on this amazing roller coaster ride of a show. I want to thank everyone at this table here, the writing staff, Cary Grant, Chelsea Bile, Jeff King. You guys are so much fun to work with. Thank you so much. I want to thank Krista Tucker, who wrote this episode. We shared an office in this previous show. She was my work wife for several months. I want to thank Michelle and Kay, who do such a great job of making us look good with their songwriting. I want to thank Michael Olson, who's our executive. Since I've become co-executive VP on the show, we've been broing out, and I love it. And also, I just want to say, I also want to say thanks to Brown Bag. Obviously, this is the tip of the iceberg, people working on the show. Brown Bag, all our voice actors, et cetera, so many people to thank. But I just also want to say thank you to the Doc Experience. It's just been so amazing. Just today, we announced that Michelle Obama is going to be a guest character on our show. She's going to be... The White House actually came to us and asked to be on the show. And so you will get to see, on October 5th, you'll get to see animated Michelle Obama dancing with Doc McStuffins. That's the impact of this show. It's like when you're on the show day to day, sometimes you forget what this show is. But I have this Indian American friend. She talks to me all the time. Every time I see her, she will not let me forget. She says to me, if I had had a Doc McStuffins role model growing up, my life would have been so much different. And that's something that we keep in mind all the time. What was my last thing that I wrote down? Oh, thanks to the Sentinel Health Awards. This is so amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay. What shall we do next? I know, serial drama. East Los High is an original Hulu drama that follows a group of Latino high schoolers living in East LA. As one of the top 10 shows on Hulu, East Los High tackles real-life situations including romance, mystery, dance, and of course, sex. The episode Beauty Queens Don't Wear Trash features a dramatic storyline on domestic violence. So let's take a look.
Good to see you, girl. Hey, you too. Here's your emergency contraception pill. You should take it as soon as possible.
Yeah, I know, Juana. How much do I owe you?
There's no charge for the Ella. You qualify for free birth control here. And if you apply for the Affordable Health Care Act, it can all be free, even at the pharmacy.
No shit.
No shit. Now, remember, your new birth control pills won't take effect for 4 weeks. So use condoms.
I will. Gosh, she finally went to sleep. So tell me about this big sale.
So you don't want to have my baby? What, I'm not good enough for you?
Pedro, of course you are. You sold 3 cars.
I'm sure as hell better than that punk-ass pretty boy that you spread your legs for.
Stop it! I love you. I'm just not ready for another...
Then when are you gonna be ready? All you do is lie. I pay the bills. I take care of your little shit in there.
Shut your mouth!
Stupid bitch! Nobody hits me! You understand me? You understand? Hey, 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 hey! Do you understand? Are you listening? Nobody hits me! Shut up!
Thank you for calling the National Domestic Violence Hotline. My name is Karen. Before we begin, I want to let you know that this call is anonymous and confidential. How may I help you?
I need a place to stay.
Okay. Are you safe right now?
I'm alone right now. He's at work.
Are there any children involved?
I have a daughter. She's 2.
I'm going to search for local agencies in your area. What city and state are you calling from?
From East LA, California.
I'm going to connect you to a local agency. Please don't hang up.
Okay.
You know I love you, right?
Yeah, I know.
Wait. You missed a spot.
You can put your robe back on. Have you ever called the police?
No. I just need a safe place for me and Isela to stay for a couple of days.
We can create a safety plan. Do you have any friends or family you can stay with?
No, I got no one.
Then you can go to a shelter. But you have to cut off all contact with your boyfriend for at least 30 days.
30 days? Okay. Okay, I'll do it. I just want to keep my baby safe.
Here to present the award for serial drama, I'm pleased to introduce Renee Alvarado and Gabriel Chavarria, who play Pedro and Jacob on East Los High.
Cannot believe they showed that clip. No, honestly, I went from a pretty decent guy to like everybody hates me.
In case you guys are wondering, I was the
the skinny pretty boy dude that he was talking about. My gosh. In that clip.
Okay, no, on a serious note, I can't quite express to you how rewarding it is as an actor and writer and creator of a show to be able to affect people and genuinely move them. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's all that matters. It's raising the awareness and leaving an impact. And that's something that I feel, not only the show that we're a part of, but everyone in this room has really been able to accomplish and just has it down in spades. It's incredible. I can't tell you how many people approach me on the street or through social media, and they tell me two things. It's one, I hate you. Like, I cannot stand you. But then I tell them it's fake, you know that. Like, I just read off of the page, but they always say, they're like, thank you so much, because it opens their eyes. And again, it's just a testament to the writers and the creators of East Los High, because it's been a blessing to be a part of. And if playing a bad guy is gonna raise awareness and maybe save a young girl's life, I mean, sign me up. I mean, I'll do it all day, every day.
So, we are very happy and excited to present the first place Sentinel Award for serial drama to our show, East Los High.
Here to accept the awards are the creators who helped create the stories and the characters we're so lucky to play. Executive producers Katie Elmore Mota and her husband Mauricio Mota.
Thank you so much, and thank you coming from you guys who are the amazing talent that bring these stories to life in an eerily real way. You know, there's so I always think it's weird accepting awards because you know there's like 100 people that made what we're doing. You know, first of all, we've got some amazing writers in the room, Charo, Robin, Omaira, who are in the room creating this story. I remember when I first read it, we all had goosebumps. It was eerily real, eerily scary. Renee, who just brought it to life, and I remember when we were talking to you first about the role, and we said, you know, people are probably going to hate you, but you totally understood why this was such an important story to tell. And our whole company at Wise Entertainment, you know, we have a research department, which is, I think, very different than some companies that actually spend time talking to nonprofits and to specialists and to people who have been through these situations on a daily basis. Like, we make a joke, like, oh, it's research season, we're getting ready for the next season. But in fact, they're on call every single day, answering the phone for our writers and getting new research and really trying to dive into what's happening culturally right now. So I'm so incredibly grateful for our amazing team and the stories that we've told and that we're going to tell, and the fact that we're able to connect with people and hopefully raise awareness and just not make people feel alone in what they're going through, because I think we've all had experiences where we're like, wow, am I crazy? What the hell is going on in my life? And I think by sharing stories we can make a difference. So thank you HHS for the award, and thank you to our amazing team and all the talent that brought this to life.
Isn't this great? Everyone's so great. Our next category is drama. This category is always a very tight race. This year, 3 entries stood out. The first is Madam Secretary's episode, Face the Nation, on CBS. T. Leone plays Secretary of State Elizabeth McCord, who suffers from PTSD after barely surviving a violent coup in Iran. Let's take a look.
Madam Secretary, you were present when Iranian Foreign Minister Javani was killed, along with several others.
Yeah, yes, I was.
Tell me about that horrifying scene. Who was there with you and what happened?
down! Ma'am. Ma'am. Kids are a blessing.
Indeed.
Of course, when they look back at the Amazon and what we did to it, they'll think we must have hated them.
Again, ma'am, these remarks...
No, it's interesting. Because, you see, if we chop it all down, we pretty much guarantee that the planet overheats. And our kids will live in a totally destabilized world. Well, then, at least they'll be able to go to war with each other over fresh water. That'll be kicky.
Madam Secretary, are you quite all right?
Are you not hearing me? Your children and mine will suffer because of choices we make today. They will suffer, and there will be nothing that we can do to help them. Is that what you want? Is that... you excuse me for a minute, please. You call 911. You think I'm having a heart attack?
Look, I know you think you can tough this out, but guess what? You can't. You've got to get help now before this really takes hold and gets worse.
I can't just drop everything and take a spa day because I'm
Stop
sad.
it. You don't have to drop everything. You just need to talk to someone.
And then there's Abdul.
Giovanni's son, right? What about him?
He was there. He was there in the room, too. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell anyone. Because I couldn't get to him. I wanted so badly to protect that boy. Or at least keep him from seeing his father murdered in his own living room. But I couldn't. Fred was on top of me. And I couldn't get to him. How in the world is that boy supposed to go on?
Two of our drama finalists deal with campus sexual assault, and both have compelling takes that scored within 1 point of each other with the judges. In a story spanning 2 episodes of ABC Family's Switched at Birth, the characters Bay and Tank learn how sexual assault can be confusing and painful for both parties involved.
I don't remember. You know.
Damn. I mean, we were both pretty drunk. I know I was not loving life this morning myself.
And if I don't remember, how do I know that I wanted it to happen?
What are you saying?
Well, some people say that if you're too drunk to remember, then that's not... It's just not okay.
Are you accusing me of...
I'm just saying, if I was that drunk, maybe you shouldn't
what,
have...
like taking advantage of you? We were having a great time.
I was on the verge of throwing up. I was practically passed out.
You were not passed out. What do you take me for?
Well, I couldn't have been into it.
Why? Because you regret it today?
Hey!
People have drunk sex all the time. It doesn't mean someone got attacked.
And I'm supposed to just believe that it happened the way you said it did?
Hey, if you had said no at any point, I would have stopped.
Did I say yes?
What? That's ridiculous. What was I supposed to do? Stop at every single point and ask, do you want this? Do you want that? No, no one does that. One thing leads to another. You're being crazy.
Do not call me crazy.
You seemed into it.
But if I don't remember it, how can that be okay?
You woke up today all freaked out because you cheated on your boyfriend. But do not turn around and try to make what happened something that it wasn't. We had sex, Bay. It was not assault.
Are you saying that you regret having sex with Tank?
Or that it was not consensual?
I'm saying something happened, and I wasn't okay with it. But we've both already suffered enough.
How so?
Gossip, the humiliation, coming here. We've been through enough. Please don't put us through any more.
I know this was hard for you. Thanks for coming in.
What happened?
He got expelled. I can't believe it. This is exactly what he was afraid of.
You can't control that.
I told that lady how confusing it was, and Tank told her his side, but I guess all she heard was that when I woke up, I felt violated.
The facts are what they are. You can't change them.
If I'm supposed to feel better, I don't. I just feel awful for everybody.
I know. Me too.
Next is the Good Wife's episode Red Zone, also on CBS. The series stars Juliana Margulies as Alicia, who observes how college campus laws don't always line up with civil law.
Went to a party at the Theta House. Was supposed to start their Thanksgiving food drive. I was only going to bring canned stuff. Sorry, I'm not used to talking like this. But Troy was there, and he said I should at least stick around for a little while. I remembered all the Red Zone stuff they told us at orientation about how many freshman girls get, assaulted in the first few months of school from drinking too much. But I was careful. I got my own drink. I didn't put it down. I woke up in an upstairs bedroom, naked. I was on the floor. Troy was on the bed, asleep. I couldn't find my clothes. I couldn't.
Would you like to stop, Jody?
No. When I looked down, he had ejaculated on me.
Jody, you're lying. That's not what happened. This will destroy my future. You can't just lie.
Excuse me, sir, you can't interrupt my client.
Actually, hello, Miss Florek. You're here as a silent advocate. You can't say anything.
Yes, but he's the accused. It's not his right to interrupt.
Actually, it is his right. According to the student handbook, he can participate.
It is true. He raped me. I tried to call my parents the next day.
It was consensual? Maybe you had too much to drink or something.
I didn't have too much to drink, and I said no. You just didn't want to hear it.
The panel is ready to deliberate and offer its decision.
Excuse me, we still have witnesses.
Mrs. Florek, we have already warned you about staying silent.
Unfortunately, Jody, there isn't enough evidence for an expulsion.
We want to be clear. To say there isn't enough evidence does not mean he is innocent.
Excuse me, there has been a complete lack of due process here, and you have opened yourself up to a lawsuit.
What?
Title IX requires due process in campus allegations. You are subject to suit for not supplying that.
Are you suing us? Is that what you're doing, Jody?
Yes.
The third place Sentinel Award for Drama goes to Switched at Birth, accepting executive producer and writer Lizzie Weiss.
Where's the good wife? Right there? That was really cool. We had totally different outcomes. That's amazing in our stories, and it was amazing. And Madame Secretary, congratulations to you guys too. Thank you everyone for this. This is a subject that we knew we had to dive into, even though it was a little bit scary because the whole nation was going crazy in the fall with all of the Rolling Stone and all those stories. But since I think we are actually the only show on TV with 2 women protagonists in their 20s in college, we knew we had a responsibility to dive in. We were definitely nervous because we thought we could get hit by both sides, both survivors and men, and could come at us and say that we didn't tell their story correctly. And I'm just really proud that our network allowed us, and that all of us, all of my team, which is here tonight, decided to be really honest about the story we wanted to tell, which was a little bit less of a straightforward story that was being, as I said, really true to what happens in a lot of college situations, that is murky and scary. And it was personal to me only because I'm a mom. But I'm a mom to both a daughter and a son who are very young, but I hope will go to college in a decade. And I want to send both of them off equally aware of what they're walking into in college and protect themselves for what needs to happen, and what, if doesn't happen, could get them all into very deep trouble for the rest of their lives. As I said, I'm really proud of the story we told. Thank you so much. All of my team is here. Thank you guys for showing up tonight. You're amazing. This was for all of us. Darla, Henry, Joy, and I actually wrote the episode, but all of our names should be on every episode because we work as a team. Thank you guys so much.
The second place Sentinel Award for Drama goes to The Good Wife, accepting supervising producer and writer of the episode, Nichelle Tramble-Spellman.
Thank you very much. This is very exciting. I want to say thank you to all of the Good Wife people who are here. This story, I think, took almost 3 months to break. We moved on the other stories in the room and kept coming back to this one because it was tough. Thank you for the Sentinel Award. It's a great honor. I'm humbled and grateful. I would also like to thank Robert and Michelle King, who are not here tonight, for giving us the safety and the room to tackle this important issue. I have 2 teenage nieces, and this is huge to me. One's in high school and one is in college. So this topic kind of keeps me up at night. So they've gotten a little used to me sending them frantic texts at 3 o'clock in the morning with lots of exclamation points that say, don't take a drink from anyone, don't put your drink down and pick it back up. And then I go to sleep after 3 or 4 texts, but I wake up still feeling like something is wrong. So that's when I text my nephew and I say, don't ever be the kind of man that would put something in a woman's drink. And don't ever be the kind of man who thinks being unconscious equals consent. My point is that the conversation needs to be genderless. We don't want our boys or our girls to be on either side of these dismal statistics. So let's keep the conversation going on TV and film and books, in the newspapers, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, frantic text messages. But most importantly, let's continue the talk in home, face to face. Thank you very much for this honor.
Michelle. You would have the honor even without the lucite. So that means that the first place goes to Madam Secretary, and accepting is co-executive producer and writer Matt Ward.
Goodness, wow, this is just put that down. This is a really a big honor to get. I mean, for no other reason than as a TV writer, if any award that has the words Norman and Lear and your name it's pretty exciting. So this is a real thrill. So I want to thank the Norman Lear Center, and also the other absolutely tremendous entries in the category. I was just floored by those clips. So big congratulations to Switch at Birth and The Good Wife. I really am humbled that we got this award for our portrayal of PTSD, because the Lear Center is obviously very invested in getting the right information out there, and we tried really hard to do honor to this kind of epidemic in our country that so many people are going through, and we tried really hard to get it right, and I'm honored that you felt that we did, especially because in our show it's the Secretary of State, but so many people, our men and women in uniform, and even in the Foreign Service, people that are out there working for all of us are coming home with PTSD. And so we wanted to get it right, and we wanted to show that there's help out there. So thank you very much for that. And I want to thank CBS for letting us tell this story, and Barbara Hall, our show's creator, and the rest of the writing staff, David Gray. And I thought our cast was really terrific in this, particularly Téa Leoni and Tim Daly and Jelko Ivanic, who did some wonderful work on the show. So I wanted to say that, and I just quickly also wanted to say something about climate change. You might have seen in the episode there was where she's yelling at the foreign minister of China about climate change. She's sort of having a moment, and the Lear Center actually hooked me up with a climate scientist to help me write that stuff. And in the writing of which was super helpful and amazing, this talking to someone who's like so much smarter than you. It's like absolutely, but sort of sobering. But anyway, when we were breaking the story as just sort of a placeholder, we had, the story was about oil being discovered in this very biodiverse region of the Amazon, which is super important for biodiversity and for filtering carbon out of the air and all this kind of stuff. And we sort of, as a placeholder, just said, oh, it's some place in Ecuador. And then when I started to write the episode, as it happened, there really was such a place in Ecuador. And in the story, the secretary is able to broker a deal to make sure that it's preserved. But in real life, what happened was they tried to do exactly that, and they couldn't get the money, and now it's being developed for oil exploration. And so I just wanted to say, even though sometimes we wish that the stories that we tell in life had the same happy endings as sometimes they do on TV, I think it's important that we tell these kind of stories and we try to get them right so that perhaps they could have some small impact on the outcome in the real world. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot. This really means a lot. Thank you very much.
Okay, he stole my thunder because I was going to point out that that episode of Madam Secretary, in addition to doing an incredible job portraying PTSD, also found a way to mention some of the impacts of climate change. So there, I said it anyway. So it was really a double whammy. We got PTSD and climate change in one episode. So kudos. Okay, comedy. In the comedy category, we have the CW's Jane the Virgin for the episode Chapter 13. How many of you have seen this adorable show? Please raise your hands. If you haven't seen it, I'm serious, go binge watch it or something. It's absolutely adorable. And that's not even, it's not because I'm biased. It's really adorable. Anyway, the premise of the show, if you haven't seen it, suffices to say that things get mixed up at the OBGYN office, and Jane, the virgin, winds up pregnant with her boss's baby. So in this clip, we see Jane and Raphael face some real concerns about this unexpected pregnancy.
So are you two going to find out the sex today?
Yes.
I was thinking that maybe we should wait.
What?
It'd be a fun surprise.
Well, there's no surprise. It's definitely a girl.
Well, then why should we find out?
Because I need confirmation.
You know, I am a little obsessed with planning. I like to think ahead. Bedding, paint colors, layout.
Now you're just making up words.
I really want to know, please.
Fine.
Thanks. The answer's yes. Everything okay?
The doctor will go over all the results.
So is that not a yes?
Do you see something wrong?
I'm just taking pictures. I'm not qualified to read the results.
Yeah, but I mean, you've read a lot of these, so does everything look normal?
I'm really not able to say.
Well, if everything was fine, you'd say everything is fine. So everything's obviously not fine.
I'm sorry. Only Dr. Hillcroft can actually read the results.
Well, how about you go get Dr. Hillcroft? Okay?
This bright spot on the baby's heart is called an echogenic focus.
And there's another one on the bowel. Now, I know that probably sounds scary, but let me be clear. By itself, it says no effect on the baby's health or the heart.
So what's the problem with it?
Well, at the moment, there is no problem. But an echogenic focus can be a marker for possible chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus. But like I said, it could also be nothing, a normal variant.
And you can't tell which it is, whether it's nothing or something?
Not from an ultrasound, no.
Jane.
Sorry. How do we find out then?
We can do an amniocentesis. It's a relatively common procedure where we remove and test fetal cells. After the procedure, we'll put you on bed rest for 48 hours. And after the risk has passed, you're back to your life.
What's the risk?
Miscarriage. Statistically, it occurs in about 1 in 300 of these procedures.
Hey, do you want any more cereal or any water or anything?
I'm good. Just enjoying this chair. Didn't realize how much I miss sitting in chairs.
And I am just happy that these 48 hours are over. They were stressful. And now we just have the stress of waiting 2 weeks for the results.
Let's really try not to stress. Part of my new parenting philosophy, letting go a little.
All right. I'm in. And I will raise you one. In the craziness of our appointment, we forgot to find out the sex.
You're right.
So are you willing to let it go and just be surprised?
You trapped me.
What's your answer?
Fine, I'll let it go.
Really?
No biggie. Especially because it's 99.9% a girl.
I don't know about that. We'll have to wait and see.
I have to point out that the guy who plays Raphael, his personal life somewhat mirrored his professional life in that he has recently become a daddy as well. So here to accept the award is the talented and handsome Justin Baldoni, who plays Raphael.
So sweet. Oh, hi.
Go.
Oh, I feel like I've just instantly disappointed everybody.
Not me.
Thank you.
So I had to take my glasses off to get my picture with him.
So her vision needs to be tested, clearly. Awards are so interesting. I love that it's everybody wins here. I think it's fantastic. Thank you to everyone at Jane the Virgin for letting me out of work to accept this on their behalf. We have an amazing team of people. Jenny Ehrman, our show creator, is one of the most brilliant minds I have ever met. I feel like you do when you met that scientist. I often don't know what to say to her because I feel like she's in my head. And so much of what has happened on the show, she takes from real experience and real life, which is why I think it works so much. And Mark Pedowitz and everyone, David Staff and everyone at CBS and CW, they put so much love into this show. And it's really interesting for me because I'm so method, I decided I wanted to experience fatherhood, so I got my wife pregnant. But there was a moment when we were getting one of our sonograms, and the doctor saw like a tiny little thing in the umbilical cord and pointed it out, and we had just shot this scene. And I was kind of experiencing it at the same time, and I remember my heart beating and feeling like, okay, this is getting a little weird and real. And then when we came back and they told, like 2 months later, and they said it was okay, I just broke down. Because this stuff happens, and it doesn't get portrayed on TV very often. And it's so nice to be comforted and to know that, like, you know, the people that are acting and saying these words are experiencing this so that people that are watching it might be able to have a little bit of an easier time when they do. And I think that's so important for all of us in this room to remember, like, the stuff that we get to do every day, yeah, it's fun and we work so hard to get here, but at the same time, we have such a responsibility to tell truthful stories and be authentic in our work as actors and as directors and show creators, because we can literally change people's lives and open their hearts so that they can realize that they can make a difference in the world. And when we tell real stories, like everyone in this room, and I can't wait to meet you all and hug you and gush all over you, but we have such a beautiful, beautiful job because we can affect millions of people with truth. So I love that this award exists, so thank you guys on behalf of the entire Jane the Virgin family. We're just honored, and yeah, hope to see you guys next year, and God bless you guys.
There have been so many moving moments, people speaking truth, talking about their responsibility and how they are happy to step up to it. This is not like every other ceremony, I have to say, and I'm glad it isn't. I am thrilled that you have opened your hearts to us tonight and to your audiences who really, really deeply appreciate it. Thank you very much. With the winners, bring your awards outside so we can take the pictures of you and your whole posses with you, and any photo bombers, welcome to join the fun. Thank you all so much tonight.